creation, a world on the brink. In the Age of Sorrows, dangers abound and cataclysms loom on the horizon. But it is not without heroes. The exalted, those chosen and empowered by the mightiest of the gods, are all around the world. They have, and can, pull it back from the precipice of oblivion. That is when they aren't too busy fighting each other.
By the
Now,
picking of
chills
my
as aura.
thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Korak as Lythander.
Digimon, you not. Why can't I remember the song? It's so good! Dang it, Frontier's Peak. Digimon, you not. I can't.
Just do Butterfly. And Alatos as Gavel, the hammer
Now,
of the
what's
Yosi.
this here weird orb on the ground? Why is it hissing like that?
And Gamer X as everyone else. You fools! I have 70 alternate accounts! You will never find my main! Must band together to save the dreaming sea, and perhaps reality itself, for the greatest threat creation has ever known. All this and more on FateBreakers.
Who knew it was anchovies all along?
Anchovies on pizza?
What's fucked up is that fish are tangentially
Oh, come
involved.
on.
You fishy
Come on, I was
freak.
joking.
We've been building up to a confrontation
You're
in a
right,
sunken
that's
city.
fair.
There's not gonna be some weird fucked up monster mutant fish, is
no,
what
there
I'm
should
saying.
be.
Yeah, the end game of FateBreakers may look a little bit like Subnautica in parts. Out of character, it's been a little bit since we recorded due to some shit going on in the background. I'm not going to... Who's singing that? How odd! Ah, Elogi, the Spear of Speech. Thank you for coming by. What happened last time? Oh, okay, you're just typing it all out. I thought you would be able to talk, but I guess if you're just projecting words into the ether, that's fine too. I could read this summary of prior sessions just from the knowledge being beaten into my brain then. Last time what happened, according to Elogi at least, is that, the con finished. Okay, listen, I know that you and your assorted component souls weren't necessarily there for all of that, but could you have a little bit... Too much detail! Too much detail!
Uh-oh. Gone. Lost to the void.
Sorry, I had a little bit of a scanners moment.
What, do we need to rewind the tape to show the example?
No, that was me doing a bit. Don't worry about it. In any case, Hellcon wrapped up and you guys finally made a somewhat actionable plan of attack to try and hammer back Prasad for both trying to kill you all through the Wyld Hunt and assorted imperialism that has impacted hundreds of thousands of lives in the area. Made a little bit of a info dump happens about how Prasad works, why they're fucking evil, and about the difficulties in a full-on assault given that they have thousands of demigods in the wings. There's low 2,000 to 3,000-ish estimate. Oh, the mic fell down. Okay, it's back up again, thank God.
Knocked down.
Low 2,000 to 3,000 estimate of assorted deeds in the region, and that's not counting any sorts of mystery shit they have tucked away, like any more exigents or those fancy new, or old rather, Dragon Kings we learned about. One of which is currently in a big brawl with Strawmaiden Janest over in the next time scene. Other things that happened. We finally left Malfeas.
Oh yeah, and we gotta go through the desert again?
Yeah, you did. And on the final night, when Emerald is popping the portal back open, everything seems normal until Gavel and Aura wake up. Just something feels different. It might be a little tricky to put on why, but just something feels off.
Gavel will yawn and sort of rub her throat a bit. trying to see if it's a strange physical sensation.
Kind of a little sore throat adjacent, maybe. Nothing that some tea
crikey.
can't fix up.
Ah! What did I just say? Gavel, did I?
Now, why does your... What in tarnation?
What? Oh dear. What was that word I just said? I've never in my life ever said something like that before.
Well, you see, it's a bit of
no,
a...
it remains.
And why am I speaking like you usually do?
This is so
This is
strange,
all-
isn't it?
This is all plumb crazy, I tell you.
This is beyond reason. I can't. Oh, brother, now I'm beginning to start thinking about how I'm beginning to become self-conscious of myself through you and your voice, and I.
How do you think I feel? Usually with my sort of style of speeching, people usually my boys will help me out in everything, but
Oh, brother.
this, no offense to your style of speaking, of course, Aura, but I don't think the Ashen Ones will quite listen to me when I'm talking like this.
I know it's. Oh, bro. This is just perfect. It appears that Lythander's brain has been swapped with Pedro's.
We briefly cut back to Pedro in the Underworld with the fucking shepherd, because he also just dumped him there last session. Oh, speaking of last time, Sidereals! They're back, and one of them threatened to
yes,
forcibly
that's
time
right.
skip you.
Terrible things have happened to us at many occasions over the
Yeah,
course
human-
of the past few days.
Yeah, for reference, if you haven't figured it out, I'm going to spell it out. Someone appears to have diegetically in-universe switched some speech affectations between two of our main
What a
characters.
strange, pointless endeavor. I hope for our sake this is the only thing that's been switched. Personally, it's a bit odd to get used to. It feels a bit redundant now. Bloody hell! I got the strangest craving to try some uncooked chicken for some reason. I can't like a nice piece of raw bread to accompanied by a single sausage to quell my hungers for the night for this cruel morning.
Well,
And people from Yadana have very strange
well,
eating
I don't know
habits.
about you, but I think I could go for some brisket rab out now.
Ah, bother you too!
At the very least,
Bloody hell.
We see a single teenage attendant for the Ashen Ones walks in with everyone's dinner, looks at what the fuck is going on. I'm just going to go leave this by the front. I'll let you magic people deal with
boy.
this.
Oh, by Jove. What's up? What's up next? Alright, I'm gonna go... Okay. Lythander? No, stop putting your face in the dirt. No, you got... No, you can't.
Pedro would not do that. Pedro is a very intelligent chicken who just got the brain facets of a shapeshifter. So the intelligence now through roof, just not able to use human speech.
Yeah, but chickens love worms.
Pedro flips off Gavel.
me?
No, Aura with Gavel's voice.
Oh no, it's worked! It's working! I will note, with a little bit of searching, you do find what appears to be a small scroll of parchment
Oh.
tucked underneath both of your beds.
Alright, let's take a read. Let's take a look-see. Alright. Says here...
Huzzah! You have been visited by the second greatest thief in hell. I have taken the liberty of casting a small enchantment on you as thanks to give you a gift in your coming efforts as thanks for loosing me temporarily from our prison. If you wish to return this gift receipt, email me at this. No, it doesn't say email me at this website. Visit me at this mesa, approximately half a mile from here, on the night of the new moon.
And he declare so proudly themselves to be the second best at anything before. It's kind of a strange. It's kind of a weird flex, frankly, but I guess we got some explanations now.
Well, since we've been dealing with a lot of, supposed greatest and all that,
right?
I suppose it was only a matter of time before we started meeting the second greatest of some. Hells, it's only a matter of time before we start seeing third greatests of some or other.
Oh, right. And this is being signed as... I'm gonna go type their full their full sobriquet down here in the chat.
Hold on, I need a cup of tea.
Oh goodness! All right, let me copy
this
that.
This is the longest bloody signature I've ever seen in my life. Vow all 2CD of elegy, thief of concepts. All right. It's a string.
Specifically marked as a second circle of Elogy's Fennec soul, which means similar to Dokuzan and all the other core demons that you've fought. Those tend to be stronger than most demons of their rank.
Now, Gavel, it appears this as one more problem in the horizon. You see, I think I may have disassociated a bit during the recap to this episode, and I forgot what it is we were doing. It would be great if I could get my head back on track. Perhaps to some sort of divine intervention.
Yeah, I think
that would be quite... That'd be quite splendid.
By this point, Nue wakes up and hazily, without looking at who's talking, Gavel, we have a bunch of plans in the chest down there. You can just check your notes. Wait, that wasn't... What?
Jolly good. Jolly good, jolly good, my dear. Let me just quickly grab my reading spectacles.
Why do you sound... What?
Well, it seems like that me and Aura's certain dialects and lexicons have been switched here by second circle demon, an elogist soul known as Vow All.
Oh, Vowel.
Right, they left the signature. I was in the middle of putting it away. Gavel has become significantly more verbose, and I have become significantly more scatterbrained. Similarly, and now we have arrived at the problem at this strange crossroads. But
holy
let me
shit!
Read my notes.
Nue actually succeeded on her second tertiary worst pool of figuring out why this is happening. Hey, did anyone see this demon? If they're a really good thief, as good of a thief as they claim, I guess if we're asleep, and no one figured out how to notice shit when you're asleep. God, I really should figure out how to do that. We're back in creation now, and she pulls open the tent, and sure enough, yep, that's actual greenery and normal yellow sun in the air, not the green sun of Malfeas and the endless desert.
I've been wondering.
So for her to be able to do this, she would have had to follow us out, but they can't unless summoned, right?
That's peculiar. I mean, perhaps if they're as good of a thief as they claim to be, couldn't they have stolen passage in one of our various compartments? Perhaps we should check all of our baggages, see if they are disguised themselves, if they have disguised themselves as a pair of socks or some such. That is at least my first idea. It's not my best idea, but it's a first idea. And those count for more than I thought.
I'm going to go ahead and retroactively roll their skullduggery check with double 9s. So you might be... Although that's not a great roll on Vowel's part, you might be able to find them if you can.
All right, I don't know what I'd have to roll to counter it, but I would like to, if it's all possible.
Your choice of awareness or embassy, because this could also involve questioning the Ashen Ones.
Tip, cheerio. Let me go ahead.
A bunch a bunch of your men just come with assorted teapots and herbal remedies of, ma'ams, we heard that you had some sort of minor speech curse of some variety. Hope this oh my god, the tea really did help.
Jolly good. I feel invigorated again. Let's go on a snipe hunt, lads.
Hang on, let me put on this Sherlock Holmes hat first. Yes, it's on top of my normal hat.
I'm going to take this giant looking glass and put it over my bags.
Get along, Lil Aura. Find me that fox in the hen house.
Look at how big my eye gets when I do this.
The first thing you notice with your big ass eye is that this figure is not here right now, but they left plenty of signs in their passage. For as good as they are at infiltration, and stealing shit that shouldn't be able to be stolen, they're not so good at... They have the Phantom Thief thing where they need to leave calling cards. And this just seems exaggerated and blown up pretty immensely, because all throughout your sweep of the camp in the early hours of dawn, or whenever you wake up, perhaps you sleep in a little bit, who knows, you find coins of distant seeing fucking everywhere. A first circle sorceress spell where you could make a coin with an eye in it, and you could, like, scry through it. And on the other end of this coin, you see what appears to be the sigil of this demon. It looks a little bit like this, but fucked up and evil.
I describe the cool S, the evil cool S to my compatriots in kind. Phantom Thief has been here. How could I tell? Desperate attempts for attention, clearly.
Well, something else I'll note is that, for whatever reason, they seems to view this as helping, I could say, from the little... Ransom, that's not quite the right word, although I guess that could be an element of. They seem to genuinely think this was helping via switching your mannerisms around for some reason. And they did point out towards your goals going forward, and you did have a big press conference about how you were going to go declare war on Prasad.
It's true.
So it seems like the goal here was a very fucked up, misguided alien attempts to quote-unquote help you via switching speaking mannerisms around for some reason.
This is the strangest help I've ever seen in my life.
I've never seen an episode of Taskmaster quite this strange.
Well, whoever our Good Samaritan is, I guess we'll refer to him as that, they have a strange notion of what could be considered a helpful act in this most dire of circumstances, but they seem to have our best interests at heart, at least in mind, so it is possible that we may find ourselves an ally in them in the coming days. Possibly. Depending on how well we can explain to them that this didn't help at all.
And for Korak's benefit, this is a curse strong enough that it would require the full-ass venture and time sink of the curse-shattering strike mode. You cannot punch this out of them with a single blow. This is some weird esoteric shit to untangle. However, out of character, this only lasts for the session, because I don't want to keep torturing you like this.
Don't worry, my good Lythander. Here you go. I've got some, what are chickens like? Here's some ground corn.
This is Pedro and Lythander's
Don't worry, Lythander. I've got some nice, ground up corn for you. I love you. I know you love it. Good boy. Good boy. Here you go. Ground corn doesn't make chickens explode, does it?
Pedro grabs a pen and paper and writes, "Do not think I am unintelligent, you cur. I am more intelligent than Lythander. This is I, Pedro."
Oh my god, Pedro talks like the fucking coyote.
Don't worry, my good man. I'm not.
And Pedro gives Aura the paper.
Fucking pulls out the guy on the whiteboard, but it's a chicken. Yes, good. I've got the gift. This is Pedro right now.
All right. Well, yes. I guess my initial guess was correct. It is Pedro inside Lythander's body. Well, my offer still stands. Do you still? Well, then my offer still stands. Do you want the ground corn? I assure you, it's quite good.
Pedro just looks at Aura dead in the eyes and writes down, "My dear Aura, I may be a chicken, but chickens are carnivorous things as well. Can I please have some meat instead so that I can taste how it actually feels with the tongue of a sapien instead of the tongue of an avian creature?"
I do think Nue walks up. You know, I've heard about lunar elders being able to do this kind of trick. I'm just not sure what the utility of it is swapping yourself with your familiar for a bit. Why are you doing that?
Pedro also is writing,
Well,
"I don't believe Lythander is stupid enough to attempt this on his own. Some idiot must have done this to us. I have no idea how, for my body was currently in the hells, and I do not think that Lythander has the knowledge that I have when it comes to
out of character.
sorcery."
All did not explicitly target Lythander for this kind of chicanery, but we can roll with it if you want to.
Funny. I feel like this is funnier.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose it's a bit of a strange experience for you, Pedro.
Although,
I mean, the only meat you might be with the chicken's body, the only meat you'd be able to
Chicken.
Properly digest would be like insects.
I should note,
insects and
egg
and worms and all that. Large and small lizards.
I should
small
note,
snakes, young mice.
exaltations are tied to the soul, not the body. So Lythander could shapeshift back to himself at any time he wants.
So there's going to be a Pedro. Well, remember, Pedro was in hell when this happened. Lythander doesn't have the spell to come back. Pedro does.
Hey, meanwhile, we cut to Lythander's being dangled over a fucking fire by the shepherd.
What the fuck is happening here? Why are you doing this to me? Let me go, you cur!
Because you trapped me in the Underworld, and
this wasn't me! That was Pedro!
Lythander, is that you?
Yes, shepherd! It's me!
Well, unfortunately, it's quite hard to trust what you're saying, given all the stupid fucking bits you've run in the time I've come to know you.
I did not do this. So can you please let me go before I blast my way out?
Doing a quick read intentions from the shepherd. What's Lythander's guile? Resolve. I was thinking of the 3rd edition rules for a second. Is your integrity 3 or higher?
It is 2.
Okay, then it's only resolve 3, but defenders win ties. So, I don't think if Shepard can understand if this is a bit Lythander's running or not. The consequences of your action, you're kind of doing a boy cried wolf thing right now, Korak.
Lythander will cast Eldritch or Gloria's Exalted Burst. Or Blast to blast his way out.
Alright, that doesn't prove anything, you realize.
It's just getting him off of the... this is just to get me off of the pole.
Okay,
of being cooked.
Alright, yeah, you are now off the pole.
I don't know why I'm here. Pedro normally goes off and does his own thing. I have no idea why. I sometimes think he is sometimes stronger than me. I have no idea how. He's just a chicken. He's not like a hell chicken or something like that.
A chicken you've somehow cracked open the ivory circle of necromancy to.
He's using sorcery, not even necromancy. I don't even know.
No, if that's necromancy.
Doesn't Pedro also know sorcery as well? Or some sorcery?
Generally speaking, non-exalted spellcasters can only learn sorcery or necromancy.
Gotcha. Yes, I gave him the ability to learn how to use necromancy. I didn't think that a chicken would be able to be this intelligent.
Well, it seems like you've been hoisted on your own petard now, hasn't it?
You mean petard?
I thought you pronounced... it's apparently pronounced petard.
Oh. I've always heard to say petard. This is in character with Shepard.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
In any case, it seems like...
I forget, why did we bring Shepard here?
You didn't do this. You punted him to the Underworld so that you would have time to negotiate with prospective allies before he could put the kibosh on that, because he's supposed to defend Prasad as one of the major Dragonblood holdings.
Gotcha.
Because, Dragonbloods, bulwarks of creation against shit from the Wyld and assorted other horrors from the Abyss, including Death Lords and shit.
Yeah, that's fair. You do know that... Okay, so we are trying to... we both have a similar goal, Shepard. And that's to stop a Death Lord.
I did hear tell from a coworker about her attempts to similarly gainsay you to focus on that instead of this side errand bullshit going sideways.
It always happens, like, we're trying to do it, but then you guys started a Wyld Hunt against us.
That wasn't us, that was
Prasad.
Prasad.
Yes, Prasad. Wait, I thought Shepard was a dragon.
Shepard's a Sidereal.
Oh, Shepard's a Sidereal. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Sorry. Been a while.
The male symbol is burning on his head. That's what the astrological sign of Mars is. He's a battles cast.
Gotcha. Then a Wyld Hunt was called upon us, so we had to do that side shenanigans. We're trying our best here, Shepard. But apparently our best is never good enough for people.
No one's best is ever good enough. That's why we're in this mess to begin with in such a time of tumult.
I know, there's many people that should be much more powerful than us that have decided to not do anything about this. Like, I don't know why.
When I was a child, I tried to climb a tree.
Okay.
I ended up falling from it, and I broke my leg.
Okay.
When I was in the process of recovery, I was told by my father that no one was going to be able to climb that tree.
Okay.
It was beyond anyone.
Okay.
And then I woke up and realized I was dreaming. But the point to this metaphor is that there are some things... Nothing is impossible for everyone. There are some things that are impossible for someone.
That's fair. Did you hear about the great King Shmebulok?
You're trying to take my shape via a rhetorical riddle of some variety. I won't engage in that.
Oh, you'd never heard of Shmebulok? He was a goblin king.
He is now just completely ignoring you, and is busy writing on a prayer strip.
Oh, what you writing there?
A prayer for the Maiden of Journeys to get us the hell out of here in time. I do have access magics that will let us get out of here before sunset.
That's fair.
The issue being that it will still take time, and I'll still have to endure putting up with you.
I mean, is it really enduring? Is it really putting up with me? I mean, I'm not that terrible of a person once you actually get to know me. It's one of those where all this is just a facade that I put on.
Do you know where I come from, Lythander?
Do I know where he comes from, Rex?
No.
No, I do not. I am assuming it's one of those where it, not Tepanit Mishu.
He just gestures at himself. I'm a goat folk. I come from the nameless lair of Mahasuchi.
Ah! That's fair. That's actually really nice. Cool. I'm also a goat.
And you did actually meet with Mahasuchi. He is, arguably one of the oldest and strongest lunars around.
Oh, that's cool. I'm also a goat. Well, I'm in a chicken body right now. But...
When I was chosen by Mars, our exaltation takes place over a period of time. It's not instant, like literally all the others. I was in the middle of a vision quest that was teaching me about war, observing insects, tending to the hunt. Then Mahasuchi noticed the essence surges. And perhaps he, unlike anyone else who would be equipped to do so, recognized what was going on and tried to kill me on the spot. The man I saw as a second father, the man I worshipped as a demigod, tried to kill me. Relentlessly and across realms of reality. You'll pardon me if I have some bit of a lingering issue when it comes to the Chosen of the Moon.
No, that's okay. No, I completely understand. I mean, my teacher did the same thing to me. Which is why I act like I do now, because if I didn't, I'd be a psychopathic murderer.
Basically fucking this is the vibe Mahasuchi was giving during that bit of backstory. And naturally, it had Shepard as Mark.
Yeah. Well, I hate that the Chosen of the Moon, or the Moon Goddess is chosen, tried to do that to you. I do apologize about that, but that's not me. I lost my voice, as you can see. Oh, you can hear.
I'd like to imagine that because you're still a fucking shapeshifter, you're doing like shaping to your vocal cords in order to talk.
While Pedro with a full vocal cord can only peacock.
Yeah. I do think at this point we briefly cut back to creation. Nue is just kind of doing some voice exercises. Me. Huh, I don't think anything really changed about me. She says as she is scratching an itch in her gaping open chest cavity where her heart used to be.
Oh.
In the distance, we hear Spider. Whose fucking heart is this? Spider kicks down the door, hole in his chest completely repaired with Nue's heart beating in it.
Well, ain't that a sight for sore eyes?
You're goddamn right it is! I have power from this being out of my heart, but when I tried to punch it out again, it hurt! Too much! Oh, I get it. Nue just says. You know, it's a really good thing I have a secondary heart further down, or else I would actually just be dead.
Is that gone?
You're
Nope, the secondary heart's still there.
You are a lucky man, Spider.
I don't really feel like that. The charm I had going is... Actually, charms aren't really a diegetic thing, so... The magic I was using in order to keep an inspiring presence and all that shit isn't fucking working right now. In fact, I actually got a fucking copy-paste of the charm from the Essence Player Guide. I'm going to post what it is in the Discord because it's not relevant, but it is really fucking funny. Content warning for self-harm because it involves punching out your own fucking heart. You don't need to read this out loud or anything, but this is what Spider has been operating on for a large portion of the campaign.
Oh dear. Let's see.
Oh, wow.
Base is increased by 1. Gains most equal to essence at the age of each session. Good lord. At the end of the story, any positive intimacy is subject to the weakening action. I see. Seems a bit short-sighted, personally. But hey, whatever makes you happy, darling.
It is at this point when a bird lands at the very mouth of the door. And you're seeing a small amount of these other birds circling in a very not natural way. I'm gonna go get a picture of what kind of bird this is exactly. Yeah, you've seen one of these things. Oh! That's
one?
The one on left!
Okay.
The one on right is, not that kind of bird, it's different.
Good to know.
It's a shrike.
Amir Jr. sprints back up your coat in terror.
Oh.
A little bit of the rat instinct still in there.
That would be correct. Thank you. That's a good boy, Amir Jr.
And the bird just seems to look at all of you and then just point its head in the direction of the nearby Tiger's Nest Coalition, one of the component cities. There's frustratingly little about this place in terms of world building, but the exact specifications of it aren't quite as important so much as the narrative space it occupies, as well as a couple other factors that will come into play. I did put out a few other major important characters in this, and more will become apparent, both in terms of those who could help you with, and others. In any case, meanwhile, back in the Underworld, hey Lythander, take a health level of damage.
Ow, what's causing me damage? Is it just being in the Underworld?
No, as you are seeing in the midst of this conversation with Shepard, he turns around and just kind of points over his shoulder, or points on the other side of you as a message carved in golden shining light etches it in front of the air in front of you. Referenced as page 1 of 1001 of the divorce papers between yourself and Amir. For some reason, because it's being comboed with another charm, it hurts to read.
Why does this hurt? Why does he want to inflict physical pain?
What the fuck is... And Shepard also takes a health level of damage. As a little bit of blood leaks from his ears and fucked up goat nose as he's looking at this. I'm gonna go have him roll a general vibes check with his secondary pool, see if he can find out whomst. Or what's, rather. That's White Veil style. I'm not sure how whoever this is, I'm guessing this is another solar you've antagonized, I take it?
No, that was my husband. He divorced me somehow.
Another solar you antagonized, then.
He divorced me somehow.
He's using some kind of sun magics combined with White Veil style to... They have a venom that can be injected through words. He is trying to kill you via his own divorce proceedings. This will continually happen once a scene until Amir stops doing this or runs out of motes. Or unless you find a way to stop this.
Is there any way that I can attempt to stop it?
I will post the solar end of this equation that Amir is using in order to combo this with martial arts bullshit. I will say, this isn't actually going to happen every scene. This is an establishing thing of, this is going to be a recurring problem until you find a way to stop this.
Okay.
Posting the charm, and yes, this is a solar charm, so Aura could get this if she wanted. In any case...
What's the charm?
This. This is what Amir's using.
Ah. I don't think I'd do that.
Bound hands and covered mouth cannot prevent this or for writing or speaking.
It doesn't say a range limit on this.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so what is their essence?
Amir's essence is 4.
So it is 6 sentences long.
The first of 1,000 pages is, yes.
Okay, so why am I taking damage?
From a separate White Veil style charm.
Okay, can I just ignore it?
No. Not yet, at least. There are ways to build up a defense against this, but that would require sorceress workings, which you would need a little bit of time and effort in order to... Either that or wait until Amir runs out of motes.
Alright.
And he can only do this once a scene.
Let's see...
Yeah, for the record, I'll go ahead and put in the white
message,
the White Veil shit.
I mean, I could just close my eyes, and it doesn't say that I have to read it. If I have my eyes closed, it's not going to show up.
I guess that's the way around it.
what's written here. I can look away. Like, if there's something that says I have to look at it, I could just say, "Oh, flip the bird," and just not look at it.
Oh, also, this combo costs him 2 emotes to do, and Amir does not have a Mance or any means of speeding emote regeneration, so this is not going to be in danger of killing you as long as you're not in combat.
Okay.
We can revisit that when you have time to get back to creation, though. You can still participate via Pedro. In the meantimes, round of creative player building. All of you roll a d10. As we are
singular D10.
Yep, as we are approaching onto the first of the 4 cities comprising the Tiger's Nest Coalition.
5. 6.
5.
Come on, get the 6 here.
Or 3, that would also work.
Yeah, or 3. Come on, Aura. Chills. Roll a d10.
Sorry,
Just a single
what
D10.
are we rolling?
To find
A D10?
this is to find out what order you can respond to these world building prompts. in.
5? Oh.
Gavel and Aura, roll again.
Alrighty. Is this time one of us gonna be the
No,
6?
1.
No, I got a 1.
4.
A 4.
Okay, so the order will be Aura, Lythander, Gavel.
Why is Gavel...
Alrighty.
Wait,
All of you
no.
name a
Gavel should not be last. I should be the one who's last. So, here,
Alright,
the
I
only
wanted to
reason
be a little
why
nice to you,
is
but okay.
because I rolled a 4. Those 2 rolled higher than me. And you had to roll
Right,
off between
right.
those
Okay.
2. It would make no sense if the
Yeah,
second
I've
one
mentioned
would be...
that. Right, the Tiger's Nest Coalition. One of their main claims to fame, and the primary reason why they have been able to resist, if not defeat, Prasad as to why they maintain independence right now, is because of their chimeric war beast legions. I joked in a past episode that these is going to be taking a lot of inspiration from Pokemon. Now is one that's coming into action. In order of the roles, pick a Pokemon type.
Oh.
Alright.
Just any?
Any of the 18.
So, do you want to know the easiest
well,
best one to pick, actually?
Screw it. You know what? Let's get flying.
Alright. Checks out. Air superiority is very important.
Gavel would probably have a... Yeah, we'll just do dark type. Why not?
Alright.
It's very Gavel.
Alright, Lythander, pick a type.
So, should I be competitive?
What would
That's up to
Korak
you.
pick?
Korak would pick the actual strongest type in Pokemon history. Fairy type. But I don't think that's what Lythander would pick.
That actually would be pretty appropriate for reasons
Then
I
I
get
will
into
pick
later,
fairy type.
though.
You know what? It makes sense,
Okay.
though, because Seething Moons, Lunars are kind of like fairies, almost. We're very Fae-like.
Yeah,
We're not Fae, but we're very Fae-like with being tricksters.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go with next, water. Because Tiger's Nest Coalition is comprised of, 4 city-states banded together. Congratulations, we have just decided what Alola Islands we have.
Nobody chose ground type.
Which, no one did, but it is a oceanside empire. At least some of their, tributary villages are by the coast, including Gafari, one of the place from the little fishing village from way back in Session 1 where that salt god got fucking murked. The Tiger's Nest Coalition's kind of in their orbit. Which of these 4 great city-states do we see on the horizon, I'd imagine? Actual names aren't really important right now, although I really fucking should have written something. You know what? Everyone name your city-state. That's the problem with not fucking having names in the book.
You let the players do it.
Yeah, in the same order as everyone drew type.
All right, then in that case, Aura, you're first. What's the city-state?
What do I just have to come up with a name right now?
You could defer if you want to.
Let's call it Sebra.
Okay. The city-state of Sebra, the proud, the neighbor to nearby conquered tributary Nadara, both cities being famed for their flying legions. Or rather, bird forces. Alright, Gavel.
Nocturne.
Alright, so Sabara, Nocturne, the closest one to the United City of Shampur, and thus gets hit with a lot of its nasty weather and stink of dark essence that causes weird mutations that power up some of their war beasts, but also has a bit of a deleterious effect. Lythander. Pick a name. Name a society.
Alright. You're giving me a hard decision here. What were the other names that were picked?
Sabara and Nocturne.
Nocturne.
Alright, I've got one for mine then.
Lupus Hemlock.
Alright, we got our names of the city-states then. Sabara, Nocturne, Lupus Hemlock, and Alcade.
Alright.
Okay.
Each famed for binding and bending chimeric war beasts to their wills as skilled as a few Yaziri defects and general hedge tribe legend, and perhaps the aid of gods and other factors in the region too. Who exactly is going in for the negotiation? Is the entirety? I would imagine the entirety of the Ashen Ones on the horizon would cause people to notice you.
I will, however, have to enforce a little bit of a different spelling on that one.
Okay.
It's Sebra.
Okay. I see they added in a...
with an O. It's spelled Sebra, and it's with an O on the front where the first A would be.
Okay. In that case, with the exact exit, the Ashen Ones are out and about, I'd imagine, because there still needs a little bit of adjustment for the Crucible of Rebirth. Although, the Crucible of Rebirth isn't there right now. Artifacts are linked to the soul. That also went with Lythander. So the question is, were the Ashen Ones inside the Gaul at the time? Is your entire society... Well, I already did establish that they were out of the Gaul, so... Your army is in fact visible on the whole goddamn horizon. And unfortunately, that would be something that... The second you approach any of the city-states, you're seeing, a fucking pack of the war beasts led by a couple of guys. Although not just a couple of guys. Something is different about one of the animals at the head of the pack. It appears to be a completely normal house cat. Appears to be. Aside it is who appears to be like a small girl, probably no older than like 10 or 11, like dressed in like a cute little, a very cute fluffy dress, and wearing what appears to be like a little handmade crown of flowers, with a little bit covered in cat hair. Is that them, Meowie? I told you to please stop calling me that. Who is going to negotiate with whatever this is?
Negotiations are my Negotiations are my specialty as far as I can recall, so I might as well give it a try.
Now here's the question. I know that Gavel was face-apt and has been faked to be dead, but Aura's status in the Greater Dreaming Sea polities wasn't really touched on as... The story that worked its way towards most of the population of the region is that the Anathema army was successfully repelled deeper into the ocean, even if we weren't able to kill all of them. Not necessarily untrue, but in any case, the point is that I'm not sure if Aura might be known by sight via all the shit that happened in Shampur and being in the tournament, so... Unless you take any special efforts to disguise yourself, I think they might recognize you on reputation. Oh, is that the bad woman? Is that the Nathma? You know we're one to talk, Marissa. First, before we antagonize the angry Solar, let's see what they want. Please don't tell us you're here to conquer our city.
Aura, looking at trinkets and baubles at a random corner in her store, entirely nonplussed by anything.
And imagine you are leaning over one of the fucking chimera's shoulders to see past them into the city gates. You're still at the outskirts.
What would be a good gift to bring from the city to a friend?
Oh, we're very famous for our rice balls around here. And just one of the guards just fucking elbows another. Don't give the anathema tips on souvenirs.
I could go for a rice ball myself, actually. That's a great tip, thank you. And no, I wouldn't drink. And no, I'm not a conqueror by trade. I'm just a silly traveler.
And
The name's Aura.
Aura, please make a finesse plus awareness roll on this cat.
Okay, finesse awareness. Do I have an excellency in awareness? I do, thank God. Okay. No, finesse is 4, not 3, so I can do 14. That's 6 successes.
I'd say that's enough, given that this cat has been spending a few motes on background charms.
Right.
This cat's not breathing, except for when it's talking. And that's a pretty fucking bad sign as to warning bells, normally. Your first thought is that this cat is undead. And your first thought isn't entirely wrong, because this cat does have, like, cataracts in the eyes, like, glassy-eyed, and is, like, walking over, but this is not just a mere undead cat puppet thing. The fact that it's able to not just speak, but you could sense this cat has a fucking anima signature. This cat's a liminal.
Oh. And you guys are...
Oh, don't. I'm his friend, Marissa. This is my conjurer, Melissa.
Right.
In life, I was called Meowie. I don't remember anything of that because, as I've told you once before, I am not that cat. I am a human being trapped in this body. Didn't you turn into a guy earlier today? Yes, but the point is just that this looks disarming, the initial form, so I use it for bits, like... So I use it for information warfare, and gods damn it, you made me tell them all that too.
I think that's pretty smart, honestly. Responsible. Resourceful.
So it's not just it's not just humans bodies that can be used in liminal component creation. The goal is to raise anything from the dead and fuck up in an interesting way.
That's good to know. Glad to have this information for the future. I'll have to pay you back later.
If you're not here to conquer, then why are you here?
Well, I'm here, and at this point I have to remember why I'm actually here.
You're here to open negotiations for an alliance with the polities of the region against Prasad, with the end goal of hopefully striking back and nailing the Empire in a few vulnerable spots.
Right. I'm here to make some negotiations. You see, there's a certain empire encroaching upon land and is closely tied to the nearby regions, and an empire that has destroyed a lot throughout this place, an empire of slavers. I believe you may be aware of it. And we seek We seek conflict with our empire, and I was hoping we might be able to procure an alliance in this city.
The cat liminal thing walks up to, your coat. It jumps up onto your shoulders and touches your hat. And doing so spends a mote for tomb and ruin inspection to learn emotionally charged moments of the object's use and history. And it's effectively getting a bunch of psychometry flashbacks through segments over the course of FateBreakers to actually garner the truth of your words. What do you think are some salient moments that this little critter sees?
Well, he sees me putting the hat on Gavel's head when we were fighting the War Strider. He sees what else? Let me think. He sees.
He would see the hat getting shot when you were in the gun duel at the end of the Wyld Hunt, probably.
Yes, that too. He would see what else? The moments where we were fighting, where we fought Iolda many times.
Mm-hmm.
The moments where we fought what's her name? The Sidereal.
Yoktan,
yes. He would see the fight against Octavian as well. Various things. There's a lot. A lot has happened.
He would absolutely focus on the Wyld Hunt stuff, though, and he would go back, like, hop off your shoulders and just kind of do the cat stretch. And as he is doing the cat stretch, an entire human skeleton pops out of him before being reabsorbed back in. It should be physically impossible for the biomass of a cat to fucking have an entire human man skeleton in there. And yet the skeleton turns to look at you and then looks back at the rest of the troops. Well, she's telling the truth about being against Prasad, at least. We will have negotiations out here. And bring the rest of your... I will not negotiate with just a single person. I will need to gather the rest of the motley crew here. Although, I think this is when we catch up of the flashback from last time, and you see Janest in the distance in the city, having a fucking Dragon Ball Z fight with a giant angry lizard man. Like, in the middle of... Like, there's been a few sounds of, disrest and of a fight going on in the background, but it sounded like a normal bar brawl right until Janest got punched through several walls.
Right.
And it's at this point...
Oh, hold that thought. I think I see one of my... I think I see a close friend in trouble. I need to go help her out. Do I actually see Janest by the way?
Yes, it is her. That's her anima.
Okay, cool.
And it seems to be, You did hear about the dragon. You did hear about the Dragon Kings earlier, but at first lets you think, like, oh, it's a lunar in war form, but things seem to be off beyond normal lunar themes. As this giant lizard is walking across the street, materials all around it seem to transmute. There's a small amount of iron it walks by in one of the nearby gates, and as it just kind of steps on it with one of its talons, it turns to gold. The cobblestone pavement it is walking on, every step it takes, it turns into much finer, much tighter cobbled material. This is not something a lunar can do. This is fucking weird-ass themes, probably caused by whatever god it's fused to. Because you see, glowing with divine energy, like an apparition of a stand behind it.
Right.
And you do hear, I'm sure you're just rushing past everyone, and this is something that everyone, like the War Beast squad and the as yet unnamed Cat Liminal, are darting towards as well in the middle of the fracas. I told you to leave, and yet you ignore our warnings. Well, how could I leave when you and all your fucking agents are here trying to fucking absorb everyone underneath our noses? We the Empire of Prasad is doing this for their own protection, you realize, given what the Star and the Ivory Court or the Orchid Court, and the Orchid Court are attempting to do behind everyone's fucking backs, not even accounting for the Lunar. This is for their own good. We're trying to bring the houses of Prasad out here to protect people. You know that's bullshit and these people can take care of themselves. No, they can't.
Classic case of I'm the good guy here.
Oh joy, your cavalry are already here.
Top of the morning, Janest.
Hi, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really sure what you're doing with your voice. Is that some voice training thing you're doing?
Long story. It's some strange man thought this would help somehow, and me and Gavel switched diction, and now this is what's going on. But regardless, thought you could use a hand with the Sorry, we haven't been formally introduced.
Ruach.
Right,
and
Mr. Ruach.
And there is a form flickering in between them as you realize currently Ruach is not only in the driver's seat. Like, Exaltation is like a piece of a god shaved off and fused to a human soul. And ochilike is the whole ass god possessing them. The difference being that ochilikes have like a fucking Ultraman color timer in the span of a couple of years before the fuse cancels and they need to find a new partner. Like, it doesn't kill the god, they just get booted and need to find a new service provider. In any case, this is a very powerful god. You can tell this is a pretty strong god they're bonded to. This isn't like a town god or the god of a river or of a mountain or anything. This is a big name, whoever is at the wheel with them. Roll me a finesse plus war or sagacity to identify who this is.
Uh-oh. Well, I rolled pretty well on my very bad pool of 4 dice.
Gavel, if you want to,
then.
this would be a dramatically appropriate moment for you to come in.
Absolutely. What should I roll?
Let me
Finesse
roll one
plus
more.
your choice of fortitude or sagacity.
Nope.
Okay.
Alright, I got 5 dice. I got 5 successes on 4 dice. That's pretty good.
Do this. 6 successes.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Difficulty 5. This is one of Prasadi's main war gods.
Oh!
Like alongside a Ruach, the person they're currently junctioned with right now is, I am scrolling down to find the name of this god. Prasad is a city openly ruled by gods, normally not allowed in creation. Yes, I've got it. Prikata Fangfall.
Kata Fangfall.
Effectively, you, floating behind this giant lizard man, you are seeing a fucking saber-toothed tiger on 2 legs.
Oh boy.
Dressed in a business suit. Well, a fine silken robe, or the period-appropriate equivalent of a business suit. He's dressed in formal wear. And with introductions done, you're making a mistake. You've proven your point when... Actually, does Gavel show up in person? Or is she trying to stay hidden because, you're supposed to be dead?
Yeah, Gavel's gonna be...
Although, your anima's at dim right now, and you've been face-apped, so it's gonna be a difficult role to recognize you, and this guy isn't great at picking up on the details, so I'll have him roll his secondary pool.
Alrighty.
He pauses for a second, but doesn't directly identify you. Just thinks,
Thank goodness.
like it's just someone similar in his eyes. Because defenders win ties, thankfully.
Let's go.
I see you've brought the rest of your survivors with you. Let it be known that I am not alone here. Well, yes, I'm here with you. Besides that, sir, what I mean is I'm not the only one of Prasad's lieutenants here at the moment, and I can tell what you're trying to do. Let me tell you, it's a bad idea. We are keeping the region safe, and if you try and sabotage our own power, that will end in doom for everyone. I've told him he's full of shit, Aura. He's not listening.
They tend to be fairly hard-headed, these Prasadi dragons. Listen, pal, what would you say your name was?
Ruach.
Ruach, yes. So, right at the moment, we currently believe there's been some difficult conflicts here. I'd been observing the city for a little while now, and the impression I get is that these people are a fine place. That these people who command a fine governance, and they require neither protection nor sermons for the likes of you. Frankly, I'd say, hey, it's in the best interest of people who are in positions of power to allow those who they might see as below them to have as much independence as possible. At least that is the future I've always strived for. Got to realize that some days people just got to fly on their own.
I doubt I'll be convincing any of you on the matter, given your patron and your own prowess. Low as I am to admit, I can't directly force you to leave right now as much as I'd like to. But that doesn't mean I can't sabotage things from behind the scenes. Believe me, I'm doing this for your own good. Y equals MX plus B.
You know, somehow I doubt that very much.
And the entire, not just him, but Janest, who was within punching range, and an entire fucking market stall on block are just gone.
Huh.
Oh dear.
There is now a blank space of a dirt path where there was a city block once stood. What exactly he used is a custom mode variation on Dragon King Charm distance ignoring technique. Holding instinctive sensory knowledge while applying advanced understandings of spatial geometry, the Dragon King completes an equation and is suddenly elsewhere. He has used that to teleport himself and a sizable chunk of the city with him. And Janest was caught in the radius of effect too.
Well then.
Oh no.
So he was not it. Well, convincing anyone was a folly. The real point was to get Janest out of the scene and put a side quest flag in there. Something strange, though. There's more strikes. Well, they're not doing anything. They're just looking.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
That's usually supposed to be my line.
Alright.
Suppose of course they've got us thinking like, suppose they've got us thinking like each other now. Alright. We have to act fast. We have to act fast. These dragons have their talons on deeper into these cities than I first initiated.
Pedro.
Than I first surmised.
One of these birds hops over to you in Lythander's body, mind you, and just starts pecking at you. I'm not sure how well that affects the general chicken instincts.
I remove the thing that's picking at me.
Okay, it squawks and swaddles angrily in your grip, but you can... Hey, this is someone's familiar. And perhaps not just... Something else Pedro would notice as a skilled necromancer. These birds' shadows are wrong. They're much, much bigger than the normal animal would be. This is like it's like a shadow the size of a moose instead of the size of a bird. It makes no sense for it to be projecting a shadow this big, like in the middle of the day or like just past noon.
Cock.
I think Pedro could actually understand what it says because he's also
what
a
does it
bird.
say?
Do you wish to switch teams?
Pedro just squints. You don't know what's going on in Pedro's head. Pedro's not going to say anything.
That's true.
That's all Pedro says.
I assure you, we have excellent health benefits, and our master gives us the ability to have extended diets. Here, watch.
Pedro's watching.
Well,
Oh.
it failed to do it, unfortunately, but...
Pedro's unimpressed.
Well, I'm gonna pull up a GIF as to what exactly it did, because... okay, yeah, good. I found the name of this thing. As a massive mouth reaches out of the shadows, like a fucking Venom-style jet, attempts to snatch up one of the chimeric beasts, but it saw it in its periphery just in time and has, like, the fucking cat jump away. Yes, it is a punishing bird.
That's strange.
Relevant to the current episode. Me and my sister recently finished watching the backstory to Fire Lord Sozin in the Avatar. So I feel like I get what the deal is with these dragons already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
A little bit of that energy is there. This is what I was trying to do. In any case, after all of that happens, the human skeleton erupts out of the cat and just leaps into the air and grabs the bird, alongside a whole other zoo of assorted other animals. Well, fucking great. This is just what I need, is for you to try and cripple another one of our legions, Shrike. Fuck off! And he eats and kills the bird, like cats do.
Good luck.
You're far from the only anathema across our borders. You're just the only one who hasn't been ominously threatening us, and is at least pretending to be friendly right now.
Well, I'm glad to be a comforting presence.
We had other people of power in the area. Unfortunately, some of our best sorceress breeders were murdered by a fucking Death Knight, as he was calling himself in that missive he sent through one of those birds in a taunt earlier. Called himself the Shrike perched at the edge of the abyss.
Jeez. Every one of these people has well, I can't say they don't have a flair for the theatrics. That is a pretty gaudy name.
The ultimate intro quote I was considering for this episode: FateBreakers is brought to you by the letter S, because every single one of Fallen Star's Death Knights, their name starts with S for some reason.
So that's two enemies that we have in common. Because that is another of our fearsome, because these Death Knights, as you call them, serve one of our other great and all-important enemies.
What exactly is it you came here to negotiate again? An alliance of some kind? Because as much as I don't want to reject that idea outright, we have Immaculates here. They're not exalted, but their entire religion teaches that, that you're demons. That's a hell of an obstacle to overcome.
Yes. Well, it's true. I didn't quite embark into this journey. I never embarked into this journey, surmising that it would be an easy one. But I did manage the impressive feat of quelling the immediate demise of me and all of my friends against an army of dragonkin during what do they call
Wyld
it?
Hunt.
The Wyld Hunt, for a grand total of a month. So I'd like to say I'm a bit of an expert in negotiating with dragons myself.
Presence-based persuade action with an automatic stunt. because that's a very good argument.
All right. I'll go ahead and roll that with a stunt.
I believe.
Hold on. Is that how many? I guess it would be this many.
Holy shit!
Goodness sakes. All right.
So, out of character, this was the first step in a grassroots intrigue venture in regards to building up an alliance with the Tiger Nest Coalition. You just blew that out of the water.
Didn't we actually also negotiate with the water dragon way back?
Yes, Tenpen Meshu.
Session. Yes, Tenpen Meshu. So we've got experience in negotiating with dragons.
That is true. There aren't any dragons here. They're not without their own supernatural defenses, such as a few terrestrial exalts they have lingering around.
Wow. I thought we were talking about I thought we were talking about that gold bastard.
Oh no, that was Ruach.
Right, Ruach. I thought he would be part of the negotiation.
Ruach's with Prasad. Why would he help with that?
Right, it's true.
In any case, scene cut to the interior of, I'm not going to call it the local fucking gym, as tempting as it would be to say that you're in the fucking Elite Four Central Combat Chamber.
The Chitano!
Yeah, the Chitano the Chitano of Nocturne, because that is the city with the closest ties to Shampur. And you'd have the most experience there, and probably would have good words with diplomats. Lythander still has not had time to get here, but I would rule that he might be able to spottily participate via familiar communication. Of, like, doing a codec call with Pedro. That bond is able to transcend the Underworld. So you can at least partially participate in negotiations as you are in the middle of a fucking odd couple adventure with Shepard.
Otacon.
Speaking of which, by the Shepard has performed the paperwork to declare himself legally dead for 24 hours, so none of the ghosts are bothering him.
Nice.
Whack-ass Sidereal magic returns with a vengeance. The first thing that strikes out to you in the middle bit of this room is that there's a fucking fairfolk. Like, this one is a real one, not the fake Sidereal albeit very convincing because it was also a real fairfolk, temporarily crafted to replace a person. But this is what appears to be a member of Raksha nobility, a Kafarak, I believe they're called. Just kind of perched in between a circle of flowers that seems to be following them as they step to and fro, grab water, etc. This person appears to be drawn in ultra high definition. They seem more real than real. In effect, this person has full 4K pixels when everyone else only has 1080. Like, for whatever reason, they just seem very, very sharply defined. I thought some of you would show up. I just didn't think one of them would be an eclipse. That would make things a little bit hazier. In any case, I will abide by the ancient pacts. One of you get me one of your little snacks, and one of them just shoves a shrike into the fair folk's hand. I meant a human soul to eat. You'll have to make do with this for now per the terms of our pact. Yes, I suppose I did agree to that, and it is an exalted's familiar. I can make do with this, and it eats the entire bird. I will not give you my name, for that is such a folly, although I will tell you the current title I'm going with. Drifting Bulb is how you may refer to me as. I am the local ambassador from the Orchard Courts, and I will be participating in these negotiations on their behalf in case you wish to secure our help. We are nominally allied with the coalition, naturally. And I should note, no one is sitting next to Bulb. They're all visibly uncomfortable with the soul-eating Raksha in the room with them. But beyond that, there are a few... For all intents and purposes, they appear to be normal mortals, but all of them are sitting aside various chimeric war beasts. Pick a Pokemon of your choice and imagine them as sitting alongside them. You'll have very skilled chimeric beast breeders with you.
Oh, goodness.
One of them might look like Cynthia, anyway. Yeah, you're currently still in negotiation with Cynthia.
There you go. Naturally.
Alright, other people of import. Frustratingly, even though there are still strikes in the room, or rather, the strike shadow still remains, even after the fair folk took care of it. I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed, or if even the player characters have noticed, but the strike, the person, seems to still have eyes present. There may be steps you could take to allay that. Other details of note is that, hey, there is one familiar face in the crowd. Sunburn Anakin Skywalker, aka Drew Hugh Magma Drinker, from way back in Act 1. And he just kind of leans up. I think everyone should take a step back before we stare at the anathema too much. They actually did help me out significantly. A handful of the guards do relax a little bit, but there's a non-zero amount of immaculate monks staring at you as if a tiger escaped an enclosure at the zoo.
Yeah, that's about on par.
Although all those glares are directed at Aura and quote-unquote Lythander, given that Gavel has successfully unasuied herself via stuffing her face with chocolate.
Just another face in the crowd.
She looks back at them. Officer. One of the monks actually does walk up to Pedro. A demon. I see this one's using the trick to make themselves as stupid as an animal and refuse to take anything seriously.
Pedro is going to pull out a pen and paper and write, "How dare you mock me? My vocal cords are not working correctly at this point in time. You are assuming something that is not true, thus creating you to be the form of an ass. I know the person who you're talking to might have turned into an ass in your face just because of how much of a jerk you are. But if you're going to do this, at least be respectful to those who might have accelerated their growth unlike you."
Oh dear gods, he sent an animal in his place. I sincerely apologize. I apologize for what your master has done to you.
Oh, my master did not. Pedro then pulls out the pen and continues writing. "My master was not the one who did this to me. It was some assailant in the night who thought it would be funny to switch souls and bodies and all and whatnot. So how dare you call my master stupid? The only one who's allowed to do that is me."
And Gavel.
No, not even Gavel. Why do you think there's poop in her shoes all the time?
That's a failure on the roll from this Immaculate Monk to know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh my goodness sakes.
Not everyone has a crazy high dice pool, unfortunately. And
yeah, that's fair.
And most lay people Immaculates do not study demonology. That's like the Immaculate Monk equivalent of being a nuclear physicist. There are some of them. Not all of them are out on lay missions like this. They're all in the specialized research academies.
Oh, goodness.
In any case. Aura, are you back yet from your water?
I am, my guy. I was back. I've been back for a little bit. I forgot to mention.
Okay, so you have assorted people of varying friendliness in the room. Druku just kind of waves. Unfortunately, for what Magnanimous Pyroclast was able to give me with, social skills weren't shit among them. I've just been helping them with their war beasts, so I'll do what I can here, and what you can do here, Exigent, is watch your tongue. One of the monks yells.
Whoa. Alright, so this is all the people we need to convince.
It's also the cat. The cat shows up, and his the body's former owner is with him. He has made very clear, I'm not that cat, please stop treating me like that. I'm a person. I'm a human being. A human soul inside of a cat body, and also several other corpses stacked inside of it that I hot swap between.
Understood. Alright. So, who here So, does anyone here have any stories about that gold fellow that quickly teleported out of here?
Drew Hugh actually does lean forward. Yes, Ruach Stormscale, he called himself. And I think that was a pretty significant god who had junctions to him, if I wasn't mistaken. The cat says, I think it was a Prasadi war god. That makes a terrifying amount of sense, and unfortunately means we need to up our own timetables. If they're sending an empowered agent this far ahead of field, someone with... I'm reasonably sure that elemental tricks do not include teleporting entire chunks of our city away.
It's true.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you have the right company in place to ensure that they do not take any more for you. I give you my word.
And it's at this point, the fair folk Bulb speaks up. From a strictly speaking outsider's third point perspective, the war beasts are not the only reason they've been able to repel the Dragonblooded. My kin have also lent their swords to their aid, in addition, for a tribute of souls of the city. Although, frustratingly, they have been giving us animals to eat as short change recently. Some moral high grounds of not wanting to feed to feed passers-by and human souls to us. I hate rat burgers as much as any of the children of Baelor do, but we will make do if we can, as frustrating a pact as that was we were signed.
Right.
He eats another shrike and continues talking.
The city, I am sure the city is eternally grateful for your contributions to its security.
And beyond just that, the terrain has been a major factor in our favor. You appear to have just plonked right down in, so skipped the hard part of traveling, as being able to fly or other quick means of transit, of travel without distance, spell perhaps. In any case, the regions around here are rocky, mountainous, and much unlike what Prasad is used to conquering in their war elephants and other major beasts of burden that they would use for supply transits. The other main factor on the Nest Coalition side is the fact that a nest is fairly difficult to get to. But get what they have been trying to, and if they have someone who is able to warp troops, prospectively, like he just warped away part of our city, they may have found that missing gap they needed.
If the terrain... now that you've mentioned the terrain, I do possess a pact with a god that would allow us to further shift the tectonic plates in our favor. If the need arises, we could further enhance that. We could further enhance that advantage. But yes, the constraint caused by this warping is rather difficult to circumvent, as long as we do not know how the process for such a spell works.
Something I will note, the cat says, I've seen him use that on a smaller scale, just to teleport around and stay ahead of the flying war beasts we send to normally track dragons who come in here. Every single time he does that, he says, "Oh, it's one of the maths in my books. I've been learning my letters, sirs." Yes, he says an equation every time he does that. I believe
an equation?
I believe the first time I saw him use a magic on a grand scale to take an entire pack of our beasts away, he said, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I have no idea what the significance of that is, but he used a different one today when he took part of the terrain with him. There he just took a major chunk of the sky.
Could it be perhaps that they need to determine the exact area of effect via verbal component before casting the spell.
By the way,
and if the verbal component is necessary.
Oh, by the way, Drew, he says, I excellent. You look great, by the way. I didn't know you were a woman, but excellent job on the changeover.
Oh, that's quite kind of you. I appreciate it.
There's just a little bit of memory. It's like, oh, like the dragon did not. I see.
But let's leave aesthetic comments for a little bit after the strategic meeting. For now, I believe there is, if the verbal component to this incantation is so necessary, it is possible that if I can find direct access to that, if I have direct access to that dragon's personage, I could supernaturally silence him for a bit, for just enough time to keep that spell under wraps for a little bit.
The other issue is something that we could use to work in our favor. The cat continues. I don't know how long the fusion lasts for, but I have done some spying on him through my own prowess. If you're seeing the god separate from him like that, you may be able to run out the clock on how long the fusion lasts for. And a Dragon King is... They're still a force to be reckoned with if separated from a god, but their power is lesser. More on the level of a normal Dragonblood than juiced up as they are. And thus something we would be able to handle.
Right, I need to... For the lack of a better term to the audience, you need to stall out Supersonic so he loses all his range.
Precisely, yeah. An ochilike is at the level of a Celestial Exalt in terms of power they're able to throw out. Perhaps even greater, depending on what god they're fused to. But outside of their body, they're terrestrial.
Is it possible for me to match that kind of power?
You're a Solar Exalted, yes.
Yeah.
Reminder, Solars are the strongest Exalt type in the setting. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk.
Well, with my presence here, I might be able to keep... What I'm understanding is that I might be able to keep... Is that I can deal with the biggest threat on the field at any given time. And as I should focus on keeping them occupied while the rest of you tend to the remainder of the troops from starting attack.
Hold on.
I can keep the...
And one of the one of the like human generals, generic general number AB, who has a rich inner life of his own, but is not relevant to this narrative. I thought this was purely a defensive pact to add to the coalition you were suggesting. Are you saying we go on the offensive?
Oh no, I thought they were going to attack us.
Alright, good. For a moment, I thought you were suggesting launching a direct offensive on Compton.
No. I got confused. I thought we were discussing, like, in case this person were to launch that this dragon was to launch a direct attack in the city, this would be the course of action we would take.
Yes, that does make sense. But
we are discussing things from a defensive standpoint. The terrain and all that.
I should note that Gavel is in the room. I don't know if she's wearing the fucking Padme handmaiden disguise or not, but
just a bit, yeah.
If you want to speak up, you don't necessarily need to blow your cover, but launching a direct assault on Kamthahar is the goal of this arc, is my understanding as a out-of-character play group. So, if you want to pitch in your 2 cents, it might be a good time.
At the moment, I am trying to keep my cards close to my chest. I don't want to alarm them just yet.
Okay, thank you for noting that. Alright, I was just noting, Gavel, you can participate in the scene too.
Alrighty.
As the little girl walks up to you, do you want a cookie?
Well, shucks. I might as well.
It's an okay cookie. It's a little burned.
Okay.
But it's made with love.
Gavel will continue to eat the cookie as she is paying a close attention to what Aura is saying.
Yeah. Spider absolutely would not have been allowed, I'm imagining.
Considering Spider's violent tendencies.
Yeah, Spider, if he were in this meeting, would immediately be attempting to fist fight and kill all their pets to make them stronger in death.
Oh, goodness.
I'm helping, he says as he slaughters them all. Nue probably would be here too, though. This tiny little gremlin she is. I think I've mentioned this before. Her true form is just barely 5 feet tall. She's small, but very powerful.
She's small, but very pretty.
Speaking of alliances, I do have to ask, you're allied with the Orchid Court, the fair folk. Hi, I'm Nue. I'm Aura's solar... Yes, we know how that bond works. That's why we're not trying to call the... Yeah, you've made your religious... Could we shelve that for a minute, please? We're all on the same side, allegedly. You see the head monk just kind of sigh and sit down. For as much as I do not appreciate being in the room with the face-stealing demons, I would not want Prasad to conquer us either, so I will give you the benefit of hearing you speak. So long as it is only speech and not mind-warping magics. Right, thank you. So, any other powers of the area? Ysir, Palanquin, Shampor. I guess Volivat. Well, Volivat's way too across the ocean for them to care about us. Right, I just wanted to mention since I know they have a pretty active navy. And they had the Yenin who... Like, those are like 10 people fused to one, right? Something like that, yes. I don't know the specifics, but they have as many power as a legion of men, and thus have some manipulation of essence. Not as skilled as a Dragonblood, but something to count with on the battlefield, too. Out of character, he's actually wrong about that. Yenin are actually pretty fucking powerful. Not up there with, like, not quite up to parity with Exalts, but close. Enough for them to pose an entry-level threat, if I had focused on that part of the setting elsewhere. They are a full Steven Universe fusion. In any case, back onto the main fucking plot. I have us all pinned on the world map right now, so we can focus on the bottom right quadrant if we want. You guys are at the Tiger's Nest section right now. Alright, Palanquin's under Ysir's thumb. I'm going to be perfectly blunt. The reason why we've been able to maintain it would be why our sorceress animal armies are as well trained and as effective as they are is from Ysiri backing. Not from active Ysiri, though. Defects who fled that region. As prideful as we are in independence, and as much as we are benefiting from some of the fruits of their labors, you all hate the slaving motherfuckers as much as we do, I understand it. I don't want to be seen teaming with them. And in past conversations I've had with the rest of the coalition, we have all expressed the same opinion. Yadana has been somewhat receptive to our speech, but the Ageless Emperor has refused to enter an active alliance. He's kept going on. The one time he visited the city, he kept going on and on about past glories and how we should rejoin his once great empire. Puh. A good chunk of the room spits with this guy.
Gavel just mutters under her breath, as if burn... Or what's it? No, gotta do the right voice. As if burning all them churches wasn't enough of a message for the son of a bitch.
There is a little bit of glancing at the room, but I think it... I do think, like another council member just mentioned, oh yes, a large portion of your forces were sourced from Yadana expatriates. So yes, that would further complicate things if we're trying to get you on the register. If you're already negotiating with us in Athma, why not look into the eye of the killing storm? They look at quote-unquote Lythander. Well, then I will defer to the other moonoids in the room with us on that. What do you know about the Eye of the Killing Storm? Because he's quite a distance away from us. He's equidistant from us as we are to the Prasadi capital, but... Suppose it won't hurt to send out olive branches, but what do you know of a man who willingly calls himself Bloodnail?
Instead of pecocking and making it seem like Lythander is truly an idiot. Which he is, but... he's going to write out...
Yeah, go ahead.
Though this one that is named Bloodmail, you said? Or
Bloodnail.
Bloodnail. I personally do not know about him at the moment in time. I do have a familiar trying to gain information on those around. At this moment in time, I have nothing, but as soon as that they come back with the information, I will let you know. So, out of character, does Lythander actually know anything about Bloodnail?
Bloodnail is a stereotypical lunar warlord, for lack of a better term.
Gotcha. I do know that he is a warlord, but that is really all that I know. He's just kind of dense, I would assume.
Also not inaccurate.
That is the written words that Lythander has written.
Yeah. You would also know he is a full moon like Niue, so
Gotcha.
That's the fight type of lunar. Other details, actually, Vespers, do you hear snapping his fingers? Right, familiars! We should work this into the Madara situation. Madara. And the Cataract bulb folds his hands that when you walked into the room, you were sure that he only had 2 arms, 2 hands. Now he has 4 all of a sudden. And yes, his clothing expanded to include more sleeves. Yeah, that's the city with the crazy amount of birds in there, right? Yes, they entered into a protectorate willingly with Prasad, and Drew, he was saying this all with finger quotes. Honestly, that is probably a good honestly, I know that a large amount of Madarans were sympathetic to us, and honestly, before being conquered, soft conquered, I know, but they were interested in sending envoys to join the coalition. And then things got preempted, but the point is that I honestly think that maybe a siege to free Madara may be something that people there would be amiable to, because that the dragon-blooded conquerors, everyone there fucking knows they're gonna get eaten. They're going to get absorbed by Prasad, like they do with everything else they touch, even if they have a period of independence before they start putting their tendrils in there. It's inevitable, and we're going to need... He's not saying this in character, but I think he's making it clear to Gavel unspoken that, hey, if you're serious about launching an assault on Prasad, freeing Madara is step 1. That's within a decent travel distance. That is a place you could get any kind of troops you assemble to with you. Freeing Madara is step 1 of the war.
Okay.
Is there a second meteor we have to worry about?
Is that a Naruto reference? Because Madara sounds kind of like a Naruto character.
Madara is a Naruto character. He's one of the final villains.
Fuck! Well, one of my coworkers is a Naruto superfan. Shoutouts to Liam.
Oh man, I didn't know that Rising Superstar Liam was a coworker of yours.
Nope, this one's American. Yeah, in any case.
But in any case, we're talking about continue talking about the defense plans.
Yeah,
right?
and I do think I'm gonna roll a second dice pool for a bunch of the mortal monks collectively as this conversation is going on. You're the Eclipse type. That's actually a pretty goddamn good success of coming up with a written agreement. Before we go any further, you will need to pack sign this. And the head monk just kind of slams a contract down on the table.
Alright. What do we got here?
It's a contract saying you will not attempt to project power on, coerce, conquer, or use any anathema magics directly on the Tiger's Nest Coalition, and will leave them to govern themselves as any part of alliance or agreements.
It was already in my plans, I assure you.
They want that oath sealed in writing, though.
No. Right. That is absolutely no problem at all. Let me just Alright, I need 2 anima quick.
You have the battery in your hearthstone.
Grab my battery. Let me just... Okay, now there we go.
Alright.
Hold on, let me just... Okay. Sorry. That was too fast. That was too fast. I put it in my mouth too fast. There's just smoke in my throat.
Why did you put the
Okay, now we're
hearthstone
good.
in your mouth? What the fuck's wrong with you? You could just touch it to draw this energy out. I learned that much in the coils.
I don't know about that. It's my first time using it. I didn't think I need it. I have other means in other situations. I just sort of assumed you had to get it in you somehow, and it just sort of occurred to me in that sense. Anyway, it's earth sealed.
Alright. Things are gonna go a bit more chill then. Meanwhile, back in the Underworld, Lythander, there's a group of men who look identical on the distance.
How identical are we talking about?
Content
here?
warning for body horror. All these men are dressed the same, but only one of them seems physically real. The rest of them just constantly flicker between images of this man and a bunch of disparate ghosts and shades. This is the same charm that you saw used earlier for a Abyssal to project and co-locate and effectively possess a ghost.
Gotcha.
This is the same charm that was being used by, hey, that one unnamed Abyssal who kind of interacted with you guys in the periphery and was spying on you. Hey, is that them there right now? They appear to be looking into a... This section of the Underworld is one giant cave, I should note. Well, the Underworld is... It's a smaller cave within the giant cave that the entire fucking Underworld is. The biggest cave ever. Like a Dyson sphere. Anyway. You projected yourselves inside of a cave of what looks like a giant massive whale. Hey, are you inside a fucking spoken skeleton right now? That's an issue for later. In any case, there is a circle of ghosts that are projecting as this Abyssal, and one of them's probably in the Abyssal themselves. The identifying feature and the issue with the body horror I notice is that all of these people's necks are broken. And when I say broken, I mean they are hanging from the shoulders like a fucking noodle. Yeah, body horror. They are, as they're constantly gesticulating and having what looks like a pretty animated discussion, they are just fucking shaking and wobbling around there like a piece of a cooked spaghetti. Or something else incredibly floppy of, you could use your own metaphors here. I'm not going to delay on it this. Abyssals tend to bear the marks of their death on them. This was someone who died via hanging.
Huh.
And Shepard just kind of looks warily at you. Do you want to take this or should I?
Do you mind taking care of it, my friend?
Okay, let me go ahead and go into the Abyssal Charms. From the new section. As the Shepherd walks into this skeleton, and the Abyssal spends 4 motes. On triggering, going into the charms listing, it's not bound by the old laws, it's a deeper one in there. One moment, I'm scrolling down through the Player's Guide archives. Should be an embassy charm if memory serves. Ah, yes! Capital Justice Manifestation Decree. He does need to roll in order for this to work, so I will have the roll off between him and the Shepherd. I am posting the script of this charm in the Discord. Feel free to read this off if you want, as I do this roll off.
Let's see.
Stop! You have violated the law!
Literally, yes. Trying to think if any of his intimacies would boost his resolve here. You know what? He would spend a mote on the integrity excellency, so that would fail anyway, because defenders win ties. As he walks in, you have broken the law by entering inside of another's corpse without permission. This carries a sentence of death. A noose made out of spectral essence immediately launches out of the shadows as the shepherd looks to side camera and then just says, I did not pay proper respects to the dual monarchs when I passed by a shrine earlier. And the ghostly manacles yank him away as he is as he is forced to do community service for a bit at a shrine to the dual monarchs.
Is there... So he's just being forced to do community service.
Yeah, he fucked up the punishment that he was trying to do. Instead of being boiled in oil like egg.
Wow.
This is by far the worst exalt we visited. He turns to look at you.
I wave. And bow.
You're no ordinary chicken, I take it, then.
Macaque. Yeah, yes, no, I'm not a chicken. My soul got switched with my familiar.
Oh, by the by, he spent enough anima. He spent enough. That was a ton of motes he spent. His anima is absolutely glowing. He's day cast. The flipped cast of a mirror.
Gotcha.
The sneaky guys. This is why he hasn't appeared on screen until now, despite him having a little bit of background over the last half dozen episodes. Because Sky Sundering Shadow was not the only Abyssal in the Underworld. Well, neither was Spider. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
There were at least 3 of the fuckers. This is 3. So may I ask why you're here, then? Declare yourself before this court.
Well, my familiar, who I am inhabiting the body of, sent away the man that you just took so that we may try to gain allies against... Question, do I know if these guys are from, were ghosts from Prasad?
At least a handful of them, no, actually, change to that. No, none of them. They're all wearing, what seems like farm laborers' clothing.
Gotcha. So, there's... I'm not sure if you know what's going on up above, as I assume...
Oh, I do. I have eyes there.
Understandable. It's one of those where I just wanted to ask to make sure, but there is a nation called Prasad who is wanting to destroy everything that we hold dear.
Oh, I am very familiar with Prasad. And as he says this, his neck flops over the back of his body. He grabs it with one hand, flops it back up, and then just points to the neck. Who do you think did this?
Oof. I am sorry that happened to you.
Well, here's the thing about that is, I've become so fucking powerful since they killed me. And anyways, dying is the best thing that happened to me.
Alrighty, I mean, that's not terrible then. But we were trying to get allies because they are trying to destroy us while we were trying to stop the Neverborn as well.
I see. You know who I work for, right?
The Neverborn.
And why should I help you? Or why shouldn't I kill you now, rather?
You make a very strong argument here. I don't know why I even told you any of this, but I mean...
As much as I don't have any personal animosity towards you, I'm not a fan of Prasad for the aforementioned neck thing, but it is my duty to kill you as you have proven a significant obstacle in my liege's plans. You know how it is.
But I'm not, though.
Oh, let's see. You've successfully managed to convince the Sky Sundering Shadow to shoulder and delay on some of her sworn duties. You have failed to deliver the numerous legions of enemies you promised to the Fallen Star service in your Wyld Hunt, which, by the way, I could decree your death from that right now if I wanted to.
I did not do anything about that. Could have been... Did I?
Unfortunately, you participated against the Wyld Hunt, and in doing so, that violated some of the old laws of the Underworld via not giving promised tribute.
I mean, I let them get tribute.
On Sky's, to Sky, yes, but to the Neverborn and the old laws of the Underworld, that's a different jurisdiction.
That's fair. I mean,
So why don't we flip the script? Tell me why I should let you live.
Because I'm a very nice person. I mean,
Give me a persuade action of some kind.
which stats should I use?
This is gonna be your choice of either performance for
No, I'm asking
trying to flatter.
Which do I use Pedro's stats or do I use my stats?
You use your stats.
Okay, that was the question here. That was the actual question here, not a oh hey, what stat should I use?
Right. Because Pedro uses the reasonably lower familiar pools.
Yes. 7 successes.
Alright, give me a second to... he is using an integrity excellency as well as tapping on a major intimacy that you're not aware of yet to resist.
Okay.
So that pushes his total resolve to... 8.
Dang.
You want to think of a more attractive stunt to see if you can try and beat that?
No, I don't think I'll be able to beat that.
You know, I recognize that you probably are a really nice guy, but unfortunately, rules are rules, you know. I can't make an exception.
I mean, you could.
He says as he is, picking a little bit of dried blood out of one of his neck wounds.
Alrighty, but hear me out, though. Why do you want the Neverborn to win? They'll destroy... I mean, unless you want to die, again.
That's assuming Sky Sundering Shadow doesn't succeed on her escape shoot plan, which I'm not entirely opposed to. I'm enjoying all this power.
I mean, I'm also trying to... I mean, I'll be real with you.
There are worlds beyond this world, naturally.
I mean, I am friends with Sky Sundering Shadow.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
We're actually good friends. Like, I'm not even trying to... I am not lying to you on this, actually.
See, here's the thing about that. I've specifically been told to kill Lythander of the Seething Moon.
But why?
A bevy of reasons. Primarily because, let's see this list. He pulls out the fucking cartoon list of massive reasons. Let's see, episode 1, daring to defy the final glimmer of fallen stars when she was, claiming her Death Lord, Heartless Spider unraveling Fate's tapestry. Also subverting the Heartless Spider, unraveling Fate's tapestry and successfully turning her against her. Moving down this list, going down, and he just keeps on going until you stop him.
Okay, stop.
He stops at about line number 40.
But Sky Sundering Shadow and I have a contract.
And what are the terms of that contract?
What are the terms of the contract, Rex?
Don't bother me and I won't bother you.
Yeah, I have not bothered her.
See, here's the thing. You have no contract with Shrike.
Who's Shrike?
This guy!
Can I make...
Neckman!
But Shrike, can I make a contract with you then?
No.
Why not?
I don't want to.
Are you saying that I can't give you anything?
Reasonably speaking, I don't think that there's anything you could do that... I think our goals run in opposite ends of the section of the fracture. You see, I want to kill a lot of people so that I could rule over them and build a better society.
Okay.
Death is just a transition, you see, between this phase and the next one, and honestly, people tend to be a lot stronger and more effective and better at pursuing their passions down here than they are up there. You don't have to deal with any gods or bullshit down here, you know?
But you can do funny... But you can't do funny things, though.
Such as?
Be me.
You're not funny.
Oh, that's what you think, though. I mean, if I wasn't, you would have already killed me.
Well, I suppose you're not funny to me, because humor is purely subjective, mind you.
Yes, but wouldn't you have...
And I think one of the ghosts that is kind of overshadowed him.
You also have not attempted to kill me yet.
Sir, he's trying to steal your shape.
I am not trying to steal his shape, actually.
Okay.
I am just trying to give you logical arguments.
Let's return to the core of the issue then. Why shouldn't I kill you again?
Because...
What could you give me in my mission to to improve society by killing everyone.
Ah, but if you kill everyone, how does that improve society?
Because they'll all have better existences as ghosts. I said that already.
Will they, though?
Yes.
Why do you believe that's the case?
Hey guys, your lives have been better since you stopped having lives, right? And everyone around him just kind of nods.
Touche.
I believe that's a unanimous answer, then.
I guess life isn't worth living for you, then. And I feel bad.
Well, yes, death... We're enjoying our existences so much better in death, and notably it is Shrike saying this. Like, the others just kind of mumbled agreements.
But if that's just you, have you asked your compatriots how they feel?
Yeah, of course I did. They're all in for it.
Are you all in for it?
Well, Prasad has stopped bothering us since we died. One of the ones in the back murmurs, and that does get a few half-hearted shrugs of agreement. It's like, yeah, they don't pay attention to down here.
That's fine and all, but who's to say that they won't try to? Who's to say that their constant lust for conquering won't come to here?
Well, that's the point of my whole project, then, is to make a better society in the Underworld. Honestly, the Neverborn are right about creation. It's fucked. It's completely foobar. That's why trying to make the Underworld better is my ultimate goal. And why I'm here and why my eyes above ground to keep sabotaging all those alliances they keep trying to make and send as many people down here as possible to help improve shit. I'm helping with immigration, you see.
Oh?
Yeah, via immigrating out of life.
That's actually very wholesome.
Narrator's voice. No, it's not!
Lythander here just lying through his teeth. Don't mind him.
Yeah, this guy's this guy's arguably the most fucked up Abyssal so far. And that's saying something given Spider.
Yeah.
How's about this then? Offer me a favor and I'll let you live.
What's the favor?
To be cashed in at a point of my choosing.
What's the favor?
I will decide at point of need.
What's the favor?
Oh, that's a bargaining chip for me to cash in exchange for not killing you.
But what's the favor?
I make the calls on what that is, not you. You're begging for your life right now.
Wait, am I begging?
Yeah!
I thought you were the one begging me for a favor.
No!
But
that's me, so I don't charge you with capital punishment for trespassing on one of the spoken you murdered.
Who's the spoken I murdered?
Gestures at the giant whale carcass he's standing inside you're at the threshold of.
I didn't murder that.
Oh.
I'm using the royal you, speaking to the exalted of the living.
But I didn't do that.
Give me a finesse plus embassy roll to see if this is successfully weaseling his way out of those trumped up death charges that he's threatening you with.
Finesse plus embassy, you said?
Uh-huh.
Alright. 6 successes.
Holy shit. On 6
Wow.
dice. Hey, yeah, that's bullshit. Because you didn't kill any of the spoken, he has nothing to nail you with.
And I have a shape.
And you have his shape, yes.
I wasn't aiming for a shape, but I mean...
You got it.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I think when you just point this out loud, he tries to spend the most of the noose trick, and it doesn't work because you legitimately haven't broken any of the Underworld laws. That he was trying to trump up the charges, but whoever was enforcing those laws apparently sided with you for once.
Thank you, whoever did that. I owe you I owe that person. I'm not gonna say favorite.
Actually, roll one more dice, because you have an intimacy towards the Neverborn.
Me, or?
You. Roll one more dice to see if you could squeeze anything else out of this very funny interaction.
Just 1 dice?
Yep.
10.
Wow.
Listen, for as many critiques as you do this system, when it requires comedy, it will give you comedy.
Yeah?
So that is a grand total of 6, 7, 8 successes. You needed a difficulty 5 to succeed. Give me a moment to think of what the fuck this will give you.
Okay.
Okay, so he was calling on the laws of the Neverborn because the Primordial's fucking dying, something they didn't design creation to do. That's what created the Underworld. It's a wound in the fabric of reality. They're the ones deciding the laws, and he's claiming to serve the Neverborn, but the issue with that is that the Neverborn don't issue active commands, or think, or effectively their entire interactions with everything consist of constant screams of pain and agony. Like, our guest star Darren, a couple episodes back, did an excellent description of a day in the life of the Neverborn, and effectively they're AM at all times of day. Except without much of the power that AM used to make people miserable. Not some of it, yes, but in any case, they fucking hate existing, and they want to take the rest of all of reality with them. The issue being, you can't derive a coherent rule of law from that. Thus, for as much power as he had to execute the wayward agent of heaven, who actually may have participated in the genocide of the Spoken at some point, or Shepard broke a bunch of other infractions anyway, via trotting on a corpse, without invitation from the corpse's owner.
Yeah.
Among other things. In any case, Strike doesn't understand the laws of the Underworld as much as he claims to. He understands a solid amount of them, for sure, but he does not have a complete legal comprehensive knowledge, and he looks like a pretty reedy kind of guy, and he probably has some decent combat prowess, but not as much as Spider. Probably not even as much as Sky. Like, he's toned enough that maybe he probably knows a martial art or something, but outside of his one fuck you death trick, he's not as tough as he seems. He's a boss fight for sure, but he's not an end boss.
Okay.
Additionally, other factors of note here, he let slip that he's fucking with the negotiations upstairs that your friends are probably involved in.
Gotcha.
So be wary of that factor. He is trying to make sure as many people die as possible to do a Civ session down here.
Sounds good.
Alright, any other questions you want to ask in regards to the stuff on this intimacy sheet? Because I feel like I should give you an intimacy for free from reading and successfully outfoxing this guy and getting... Oh, you can spend a mote to gain some of his memories if you want.
Sure.
Alright, what do you want memories towards?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure.
If you want something immediately... You have two options. You could have memories of the Neverborn themselves so that you can get info on one of their tomb bodies and get the Soul Steal quest done with. Or you could get more info on Prasad, given that they killed him in some manner.
I would like the one that can let me find how to destroy Soul Steal a little bit better.
Alright, you already have an intimacy towards the Neverborn. I think that's at Major already.
Yeah.
In what case, I think this is going to be an intimacy towards some of the other major power players in the Underworld, the White and Black Monarchs. Other than the Death Lords, regarded as the strongest ghosts in the Underworld.
Okay.
Alright, White and Black Monarchs, he has an intimacy of pity towards them. He feels guilty for some reason of, as you're having flashbacks, he had some, this man, or rather, the Fallen Star participated in some raid that ousted them from power and kind of put the Death Lords into the fucking, they're the big dogs in town. They are the superpowers in the Underworld. They weren't always.
Okay.
And the dual monarchs, you start having flashbacks of surrender negotiations and other interactions between them and Deathlord and other Oblivion aligned factors. if you could reach out to the Dual Monarchs, they can give you information on the Death Lords for sure. And on the Neverborn especially. They've been there since the whole time. Alright, so, meanwhile, back at negotiations. Gavel, do you want to, drop Facade, given that spies seem to have been exorcised from the room? Like, by now they would have finished clearing out all the Shrikes.
Yes, if all the spies are gone, Gavel will properly make herself known.
Yeah, New Age just kind of gives you the knowing nod as you're clear.
Well, I think it's about time I finally get around to introducing myself properly.
You say taking off the giant Padme wig. The fair folk, Calfrac just kind of looks at you. Oh, I do love a good show of theatrics. Go ahead, hang on a second. He snaps his hand and all of a sudden a disco ball drops from the ceiling. Some dramatic lighting for you.
Why, thank you. Fair folk, monks and all alike, and potential new allies, let me make myself known to y'all as I am Gavel, the Hammer of the Yozi. Though most of you might recognize me by the name of Gavel.
Alright, I would like you to say one thing in Gavel's voice. Reports of my death were greatly exaggerated.
You see, reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
I'm also gonna post a relevant gif from that one, Did you die? Yes, but I lived! There's definitely a lot of murmurs from the crowd at this. And I think at this point, this is kind of the last factor you need. This is the last puzzle piece as spilling these beans as to seriously convince at least this faction of the Tiger's Nest Coalition guys to get on board. Of you successfully being able to trick Prasad into thinking that you died, and thus kind of turning what seemed like a costly loss for them into, no, you just fucking beat them. You beat Prasad. You got a total victory into basically completely clowning on them. Okay, fuck it, we're in.
Let's go.
First alliance successfully garnered with a certain faction of the Tiger's Nest Coalition. Getting them all on your side will be steps for a future venture, but honestly, Gavel, go ahead and make a Force plus War roll to open negotiations with the rest of the component city-states.
I'm going to spend an excellency for that one. And...
Holy shit!
Alright, hold on. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 successes.
It was going to be difficulty 7, but yeah, that fucking blows it out of the fucking water. Let me look at some other potential stuff you could buy for the rollover successes.
Oh my goodness.
Increase the difficulty of rolls that oppose yours by 1 for the rest of this venture. Someone owes you a significant favor or debt for 3 successes. Ooh. Gain temporary contacts with an appropriate group, 2 successes. So you could get a big favor out of someone and get some temp contacts.
Yep, definitely going with that one.
Alright. For the favor, you can either extract it from the Tiger's Nest Coalition or from the Fair Folk.
Let's go with the Fair Folk.
Ah! Alright, you picked the Fun Hover option. Very nice.
Oh.
As you do see kind of... in the course of this big dramatic speech you have, Bulb just kind of wiggles in place. Ooh, this is getting really juicy. And you see him start to physically grow a few inches in size, as he is literally feeding on the course of this dramatic narrative to get stronger. Now this is something... Oh, this is absolutely something to swing for the fences with. Now on to the topic of Madara, though. How strong... in a wisp of gossamer, he, waves his hand and, like, the drinks table and, like, snacks and accoutrements are replaced with a war table. With a bunch of, like, you've seen all of those in a bunch of different medieval and modern media of little figurines representing parts of the world map and everything.
Yeah.
And he tosses you a shitload of little minifigs. Put down how many men you have.
Gavel will place down representations of how vast her army is.
Yeah, so at first he tosses you like little individual figures, like, no, use abstractions. She is not going to have, none of us have the time of day to put thousands of men on the board.
If y'all are gonna make me want to do this piece by piece, we're gonna be here for a few hours. I need something that'll compartmentalize the size of the Ashen Ones.
Alright, so the Ashen Ones, even if they're relatively low in exact number, the fact that they successfully repelled Prasad is you get in quality what you lack in quantity with them.
Yeah.
Additionally, the usage of it, having a bona fide pair of sorcerers on the team, a necromancer, and several celestial exalted, of course, speak for that. You have, God Eater Baal's demonic legions, which consist of several thousand demons. And as a result of being bound to him and then bound to you, they are also able to just walk right out of... They're task-bound, so they're bound to the... a task of winning this war, effectively. So they'll be able to stick around without being dragged back into the hell gay baby butt jail.
Mm-hmm.
The Tiger's Nest Coalition has several hundred war beasts. They will not be able to bring all of them at their disposal, but you will have access to at least a size 2 battle group of chimeric Pokemon. You know that
that still ain't bad.
You know that one segment of Ash marching out with all the Pokemon at near the end of the first movie?
You mean the
yeah.
peak part?
Yes, the Peem segment. Yeah, you have access to the Peem segment.
Excellent.
Additionally, Drugyu does have a tiny little army of elementals he has been contacting as part of his volcano prowess.
Okay.
Not quite as much useful for offense, but definitely useful to hold down the fort so they can send more of the beasties with them. And then there is the issue... Madara has a pretty... They have an occupying... They're not undefended. They're not stupid. They know that Yadana and Shampur and Palanquin have their own forces that project power into the region, so... They have a sizable armed garrison present in there, and this is something I'm going to work on in between sessions to get ready for Madara for next session.
Okay.
They have a certain amount of Dragonbloods in the city. At least a dozen or so. And of course, that's a dozen exalted, with access to exalted powers and martial arts and magic artifacts and all the shit that comes with that. One-on-one... One of you guys could take a Dragonblood. The issue is they always come in numbers. And remember what happened in the Wyld Hunt of, hey, those guys actually did stand a serious chance of killing or injuring you. It's just the dice worked in your favor. That's not guaranteed, especially because they were sending across several Frances their armies, and tired by the journey, and without all of the comforts and prowess of home, here they are significantly closer to the mainland, and thus they have access to all their cool toys for emergencies. Additionally, there is something to consider with the fact as Prasad is technically one massive outgrown tendril of the realm in the big-ass center of the map. And just because they're not on very good terms, as Prasad is an extension of the realm in name only. They're doing their own thing for the most part. That doesn't mean that they don't have ties. And the realm is the biggest superpower in creation. Thus, they have access to some things you normally would not expect an Empire or Dragonbloods to be able to pull out their ass. Including, say, second circle shit. Mnemen can bind second circle demons, and did see you as alive in there, so you're only gonna have the element of surprise for so long before she successfully remembers, oh right, I should probably tell my distant relatives the demon, that the Hammer of the Yozi is still alive. And is planning on attacking you. You don't have the element of surprise forever. You will probably only have it for the ambush on Madara, and after which point they'll be aware they're in a war.
Okay.
You do, however, have time via... in the middle of this planning session, Drew does kind of come up to you. So, I could definitely get you in touch with... I have a large amount of elementals in my employ. I know at least one of them has had liaisons, and he says this tapping his fingers together awkwardly with Bloodnail.
Is that so?
A mountain elemental slept with Bloodnail, okay? What do you want me... I can only phrase this as delicately as I can.
I'd rather you just speak it plainly, but thank you.
Bloodnail caused more than one eruption for Pyroclast in visiting. Listen. The point is that there are connections here to potentially tap into. The issue is that Bloodnail's not going to want anything for free.
Of course, and I'm guessing this particular little rendezvous with one of your elemental buddies isn't going to be the only thing to sway Bloodnail in our direction.
No, it absolutely isn't. And from Archive My mentality, there is one freed up lunar exaltation around here that's unclear exactly who died, but those tend to reincarnate in the most inopportune and comedic moments. Luna is a giant god gremlin. They pick fucking anyone, whoever would be the most comedic or... Like, Luna guards creation. Like, Luna and the Lunas by extension, they still do their duty in guarding creation from the wild and threats within and without, which is hard when half of the world like 9/10 of the world consider them monsters. But any case, that doesn't stop Luna from continuing on like they did thousands of years ago. There might be a spare Lunar popping up anywhere as an X factor on either side.
Hmm.
And that's not something anyone but you guys would be aware of, thanks to Emerald's premonition. So, speaking of which, just this point, Emerald enters the... I swear to gods! I swear to the Yozi, this place is not accessible for shit. Even with me being able to fly in this chair, the corridors are too fucking narrow. Who are you? Emerald Alcide Duke. I'm nominally aligned with these guys, although the amount of help I can bring to the field of battle is limited. That's not really true, I'll say out of character. She has the solar death ray. The issue is that she doesn't really care.
Right.
Asking her to directly take the field of battle will take convincing. So why are you here? Oh, I'm here because you have a bunch of cute little critters. Gonna go pull up an example of one of the cute little critters.
This can only be good things, I swear.
Yeah, you have such a friendly little Scrunko in the corner.
Totally. Nothing horrific about that at all.
I still need to finish that series. What little I've seen of Over the Garden Wall kicks ass.
Oh, goodness.
And she walks up and just starts petting the darkness. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Oh, I'm sorry. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? In any case, any other player-facing things we want to do as part of negotiations or prep before we launch into the next event?
I think Gavel's at least good and ready.
We're not going to be going on for much longer, I should note. We're going to... Because I know you'll have a hard bedtime cutoff coming up in a bit, but there's not too much left.
Alrighty. Lythander, Aura.
Okay.
Now is probably about a point... By now, cutting back to the Underworld by now, you are just now in a standoff with Strike, as you haven't broken any of his laws he can accuse you of, so he is just kind of glowering at you from the edge of his hole, as... With you there, like, even body shifted to Pedro, you're still a shapeshifter, so that really only displaced your location. As you don't have the Lythander shape, you still have all your fucking other libraries with you, so you are not power locked in any means. Other than not having access to what's on to your avatar right now. You still have all your other shit, and you are probably stronger than he is in a direct fight. Not that killing him might be difficult, but you could definitely overpower and escape. Or have a solid chance at killing him, depending on how it sold out. And he knows that, and you know that. So, he is just kind of glowering. It's like, well, shit. There goes my one chance in robbing you, in getting the soul of a lunar exalted right now. Well, I'm sure you'll trip up at some point in the future, and I have no interest in killing you right now, so just fucking leave, okay?
Korak! And,
Strike was telling you to get the fuck out of his room. He's playing Minecraft.
Perched?
Because he can't actually kill you right now.
Gotcha.
Because you haven't broken any laws, and you are stronger than he is in a direct fight at this point.
Alright, yeah, I'll leave.
It's not a huge power disparity, but you are, you can throw out more horrifying shit than he can in a direct fight at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight him.
Alright.
I have a shape,
right, you wander.
so I'm gonna do
Yep,
the
you
fire
do.
things.
Okay. It is later enough in the day that, as a second circle necromancer, finding a Shadowland does not even require a fucking roll. Probably at the nearest, you definitely, yes, the nearest battleground between this place and the Prasadi army, near where the Camarine Legion are, and I need to do more research into what exactly that is so I can finish the ally building and get started on the proper war arc for what will be recorded next session. In any case, walk right out on Sunset, and hey, you're back in creation and can rejoin the narrative now. It is unclear where Shepard went. He is not with you right now. You're probably seeing a bunch of anima signatures off in the distance. Probably Drew Hughes is the one who went iconic first, because he is using a lot of exigent magics, and he has learned sorcery since you last met him.
Okay.
And he is casting a bunch of infallible messengers in order to get in touch with Eye of a Killing Storm from Awkward X Letters and anyone else in the region, and getting the rest of the coalition in on the loop, effectively. And but meeting you outside at the front gates is that fucking cat everyone else met. Oh, you must be the actual Lythander then. He says, as he was mid-pounce.
And who are you?
Don't play.
And who are you? Sorry. And who are you?
Yeah, you did not get voice acted swapped. You still have your normal voice.
Well, Lythander as Pedro. Or is it
What
Pedro that's being
What a
talked
tangled
to?
web we weave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, the cat grooms itself for a moment.
I peck at the ground.
You've already spoken. Your jig is up, as it were.
No, I know. I always wanted to peck at the ground. This gives me the excuse.
My name is Cold Fang of the Grave.
Well, Cold Fang of the Grave, my name is Lythander, the Seething Moon.
Now that the niceties are acquainted with, I'll go ahead and note that your compatriots are already inside the city and have successfully negotiated not killing on sight. The exact terms of any future interactions are up in the air right now. By the way, you can tell, hey, this cat's clearly magic.
I'm assuming that it is a lunar at this point, especially with the name.
That sure as shit isn't a lunar anima coming off them, though. I mean, lunars can disguise their anima signatures, but you're reasonably sure that lunars can't have entire other skeletons jump into and out of them.
Okay.
Yes, they could do shapes fuckery, but generally speaking, all lunar shapes are alive. These are all dead shapes. Something I will note while we are alone, though, is of anything else you decide to do and get up to your shenanigans, Marissa is off limits.
Who's
I will make this
Marissa?
perfectly... little girl of about... Her 12th summer is coming up now, or rather, her 12th... Actually, no, they would still use the normal seasons, it's just the months that are weird. Her 12th summer is just around the corner, and if you touch a hair on her head or harm her in any way, I will kill you.
Why would I harm
Laying
her, and why would I go after someone so young?
Because she still thinks I'm her cat.
Okay.
She's, on some level, accepted that I am not that animal and I am a person, but some part of her insists on seeing me as the dead flesh she tried to bring back.
That's fair. I mean, if she picks me
She
up,
is still
I
a-
will try to walk away, but if she picks me up, that's on her. I am not going
Oh, it's at this point she comes running into the scene. Oh, you found a cool bird! Please don't pick it! And you've already picked it up.
Peacock. I blink my eyes slowly out of sync.
Mr. Chicken, can you lay an egg? I think that's a male chicken. They don't do that.
Lythander shakes his head, trying to act as much as a semi-intelligent chicken.
Well, she is a child, and give me a moment to roll a dice pool for Marissa. She does not know enough about animal husbandry. She only rolled one success, so she falls for it.
Goodness.
I now
You don't have Marissa's shape.
Oh, this is terrible.
Holy shit. You don't have the shape of a 12-year-old girl?
Yeah? Is there a way for me not to have the shape?
You could choose not to complete the Sacred Hunt.
If I do, would the cat... So, would the cat know I completed the Sacred Hunt?
No.
Alright, then I'm gonna take the shape. Because it's always good...
Okay!
Hey, listen. It's always good to have a shape in your back pocket.
Yeah, I do think they converted the eject shapes to avoid death charm into essence in the player's guide. You could easily pick that up with a Exalt milestone if you want.
Okay.
And you absolutely earned that Exalt milestone from this bullshit.
Yeah. 2 Exalt milestones, in fact.
You can only get one per session,
Gotcha.
but you still earned it. Alright, anything else come to mind? Yeah, now's about a time when you could rejoin with everyone else. Oh, don't worry, Chills, we're about to wrap. And it's about at the time when sunsets you realize, oh, hey, your voices are back to normal.
Cock?
And Lythander, you snap back to your own body.
Holy Ugh. I did not know
And
how to
Nue's heart
moderate
flies back into her chest. Oh! 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 Alright, give me a second. She decommits the moat for the secondary heart she was using to not fucking die immediately from having her heart ripped out.
So,
And everyone else...
can
and
someone
everyone else's
tell
voice
me
is snapped back.
why I taste chicken in my mouth? Did you let Pedro eat chicken?
Pedro's head
To be-
rotates a full 180 degrees to stare at you. And nods.
Well, at least it's Pedro that's admitting it.
Lythander is just going to go take a minute and just go to bed at this point.
It's been a very long day for you. Yeah, you almost died.
Twice.
Unironically, this is the closest Lythander's come to death this entire campaign.
Which is wild to think about.
Yeah, you almost got bamboozled into breaking an underworld law, which would have given him grounds to attempt to execute you with that bullshit abyssal charm I posted. That is hilarious. It's actually really powerful. Side note, this means that Shrike is at least Essence 4.
Okay.
Alright, that seems like a good enough place to end as we close out on further negotiations, and next time is Madara. But before next time, there is this time, and this time we need to thank our patrons.
Our dear patrons.
Thank you, patrons!
Thank you very much to GB and Storm
Woo!
for supporting us at the 6-sided dice tier. I'm gonna do some renovations to the Patreon, and in addition to putting some more content up there, maybe changing the tier names to make a little bit more fucking sense. I don't think we're gonna change the prices at all, just the names. In any case, in the next week, hopefully I will find time to stream again. Get back to some Tactical Breach Wizards, and more things may be on the horizon, but I will not say anything aloud unless other people in this call want to.
Not yet, at least.
Okay, good to not pin anything down to a dedicated date, yeah. In any case, next time, Madara, the beginning of the war against Prasad. She'll interact with then. Also seeing about Bloodnail and any other factors because there are some other people that Gondor is calling for. Gondor did the war horns, and next session we'll also meet the fun robot people. I did not have time for the fun robot people because we started late this time, but next time we will all meet more of the fun ghost robot people. Yes, they're different than the super robot people. These are only normal, cool ghost robot people. Among other shit. We'll meet the Ghost of the Shell next time in our standalone complex. Take care, all. Thank you for listening to FateBreakers. We here at the Action Economy crew are proud to bring you this and other AP content like Tomb of the Red Giant, the first half of our complete JoJo's Bizarre Adventure AP, as well as Rune Runners, our Icon AP. We'll also have a Patreon by the time you hear this. If you like what you've heard so far, feel free to drop us a little bit of money if you can afford to do so, and we could bring you even more content in the future. APs live and die by word of mouth, so if you liked us, please drop us a follow, like, share, retweet, whatever you could think of to help us out. We are excited to bring you more bi-weekly content in 2 weeks from now for the next FateBreakers, and other episodes time permitting. See you then.